Hello and welcome back to iBluairJgR Gaming for Comedy. This is Uncut Civilization VI. In my first attempt at playing Civilization VI, I set up a game with an arbitrary 75 turn limit so that I could metaphorically get my feet wet in the Civilization universe. Now that my toes have been sufficiently adjusted to the temperature of the water, it's time to dive in headfirst with a new game. This time we'll be playing as Queen Victoria of England, and we'll be going as far as we can. For better or for worse, our journey begins now. The difficulty is set to Emperor because I ain't scared of nothing. The game speed is set to quick, the map type is continents, the sea level is high, and everything else is set to standard. So, without further ado, let's get into it.
From the first stirrings of life beneath water, to the great beasts of the Stone Age, to man taking his first upright steps, you have come far. Now begins your greatest quest, from this early cradle of civilization on towards the stars. Your Majesty the Queen Victoria of England, extend your reach beyond your borders and across the face of the globe. Worry not over the possibility of defeat, for your loyal redcoats and overwhelming navy will surely carry the day. With your calm and steady touch, you can bring all lands under England's sway, establishing a true Pax Britannica.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, but mostly gentlemen, we are back once again in Civilization VI, and it is time for us to get it started. Once again, we're playing as the English Empire ruled by Queen Victoria, and well, let's get into it, right? Let's start this puppy up. So we've got to find a good place to put our city. We're actually starting off on, right next to the ocean on the coast, and that's a good spot for England because they do have access to a lot of boats. I've been playing the game a lot since my first playthrough, since my first 75 turns, and I've learned a lot. Like this little button right here that I just clicked that brought up the settler lens, quote unquote. Somebody told me that the different colored tiles are representative of the amount of fresh water or the type of water that your people will have access to, right? And the fresh water, that's that good water. So what we're gonna try and do is we're gonna try and settle where there is the maximum amount of fresh water and coastal waters. And right here is probably gonna be the best spot. So we're gonna, do a little bit of exploration with our warrior and slowly but surely move our settler into position, and then we're gonna plop down and get to work. Boom. I like it, man. But yes, Civilization, it's a game that I feel like it shouldn't be as fun as it is. You know what I'm saying? It just seems like the kind of game that shouldn't be fun. And I feel like this is a good spot, right? We've got some nice tiles all around us. We got sheep not too far off. We got some crabs. We got some fish. And then we got some bananas not too far off either. We don't have any, and we got a little bit of stone over there. And we're surrounded by a bunch of trees that we can probably cut down at some point, get some nice resources for that. Now, the game is actually recommending that I settle over here. But I don't trust it. I'm going to go right here. I'm going to take the risk. Boom, I've plopped it down. There's no going back. And our knowledge of sailing has advanced. We got a Eureka because we founded a city on the coast. So, sorry, I thought I did something wrong, but I don't think I did something wrong. I was about to start over, but it's fine. I think it's okay. So we're gonna try and finish up the research on sailing because we do have access to crabs right here and some fish right here. So we're gonna try and make use of that as quickly as possible. Another thing that I learned about in my several hours of playing is that you can actually toggle up in each individual city what you want the people to focus on. Like if you want them to focus more on food production, you can toggle them to focus more on food. If you want them to focus more on science, they'll do that. So you can change, where the people will direct their attention. And I kind of want them to go more for production, just because we can get units out a little bit faster if we do that. So I hope that is the right decision that we are making. But food and production, that's kind of important in the early game, I think. You know, just getting as many units as possible out there, putting in that work. So let's get into it. We're gonna start off with I'm gonna go for a scout. Help me explore a little bit better. And it looks like that's all we can do. But yeah, you know, civilization, I feel like it's supposed to be a boring game, right? Because it's a turn-based strategy games are typically the games that are, you know, I guess harder to get into for some people because they're quote unquote boring. It's, you know, it's just, well, what am I concerned? You know, I'm just clicking and, you know, I want to get in and kill people, blah blah. But there's something fun about it. So we just triggered another inspiration because we discovered a new continent. So apparently, one continent was right here, and we crossed the border into a new continent. So our progress towards foreign trade has advanced considerably, and that is tremendously beneficial to us. Boom. And we've actually got a tribal village right there, so our warriors are going to discover that and see what they have inside. Maybe they've got nuclear technologies. Maybe they'll teach us how to make bombs. But in any case, we'll go to the next turn. But it feels like the kind of game that's supposed to be boring, right? Because it's just clicking and moving, and you think, oh, what's exciting about that? It's nothing, right? But I've for some reason I've never actually won. I have yet to win at Civilization, and it looks like this little tribal village, they shared the secrets of a well-organized community, and we got a bonus and inspiration towards state workforce, so that's nice. I've never actually won a game of Civilization. I've played a number of turns, but I never win. But it gets really exciting when things start happening, you know, when other countries start declaring war, and when you start fleshing out your cities, and you start planning, and like this is the closest that I as a regular person will ever come to ruling the world, right? And I guess I'm fulfilling some sort of evil fantasy that I have to take over things or whatever, but it's cool.
Здравствуйте, я царь Петр. Достойный правитель, подобный вам, должен ценить все самое изысканное. Любите ли вы искусство, подобно мне?
Okay, and it looks like we just met our first civilization. It is an honor to meet you. I believe this is Tsar Peter. I believe he is Russian for the Russian civilization. Come, let me show you my nearby city. Sure, let's take a look. Boom. Yep, Russia. Got that Moscow right there. In Russia, civilization builds you. And we got a Eureka for discovering a new civilization, so our knowledge of writing has advanced considerably. Boom, we're doing well. We're off to a good start, I think. There's a plane outside, but it's fine. You probably can't even hear it though. I got a new microphone recently. I don't know if you noticed the slight difference in the sound quality, but I've upgraded finally. So we're taking a look at the lenses again just to see what the different continents are. So we have the purple continent, which is Asia, because that's where the English Empire is, and the green continent, which is Nina. I don't even know if that's real or not, but I'm just gonna assume it is. And the cool thing about England is that whenever you settle on a continent that isn't your home continent, you get free units out of it. So we're definitely gonna try and take advantage of that as much as possible. And it looks like Peter is sending us a trade delegation, and I'll accept it. I'll take whatever you're giving me. I don't know anything about Russia, but I'll take it. And it looks like, wait a minute now.
It is not that life ashore is distasteful to me, but life at sea is better.
We've just run into the barbarians. So we're going to make a concerted effort to track them down and actually get to their barbarian camp now that we've actually uncovered the scout. But in addition to that, because we just finished sailing, we're going to have to choose up a new research. But I also do want to get some production going on these crabs as well. So I do want to build I want to build a builder. I want to get a builder out there. But Now, here's the thing, right? From what I understand, England is good at going for cultural victories and domination victories, right? That's as far as I understand it. So I'm assuming, oh, we discovered another tribal village. I'm assuming that is why the game is suggesting. Where the hell is it? Which freaking button is it? That is why the game is suggesting I build a monument first, because that gives me additional culture, and additional culture per turn is helpful in growing your city and winning the game on a cultural victory. But I want to make a builder. But I'll do the smart. I'm gonna go with the recommendation for now. I'm gonna listen to the advisor. You know, I've been kind of pushing her off to the side as of late and not really paying as much attention to her. But I'm gonna listen this time. I'm gonna go for the advisor. And what I'm also gonna go for is, okay, I figured it out. I had to do a lot of reading to figure out what my next move was going to be, but I'm gonna go for mining first. And the reason why is because mining allows you to chop down woods, and chopping down woods is a great way to increase your production, and production is good for building things and words and things and smart. I know what I'm doing, people, okay? I know what I'm doing. Just trust me. Trust me, I've learned a lot since the first time we shared together with Civilization and Montezuma and all that. I've learned a lot. So we just discovered that new tribal village, and they had a hidden technical secret. Your knowledge of bronze working has advanced considerably. Awesome. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And it looks like we actually met a city-state as well. It is a trade-oriented city-state. I'm throwing around all sorts of terms, man. I feel smart tonight. I'm recording at night instead of in the morning, but I feel smart. And if you're new to Civilization, hopefully I'm doing it at least a halfway decent job of explaining kind of what's going on and how things are working. Because the thing is, when you're talking about a game to somebody that knows absolutely nothing about that game, it's basically like speaking in another language, right? So like, if you've ever tried to explain to someone why a certain game is cool and they know nothing about games, it's frustrating as all hell. It's next to impossible. And I'm trying to avoid that as much as possible. I'm trying to do my best to explain all of the many mechanics of Civilization, so that if you are new to the game, much like I am new to the game, then it won't be like you're watching something that is difficult to understand. You know, I'm trying to make it enjoyable for everybody, including myself, and quite possibly Miss Chin. Okay, we're gonna go. I'm not gonna do that again, even though I still love that joke. Okay.
It is not wisdom, but authority that makes a law.
And look at that, we just finished the code of laws. So now we have the option to change our policies, and these are basically passive buffs that augment the way your civilization, it gives you benefits. It's passive benefits for your civilization. In the early game, I found that the discipline one is very helpful because there's a lot of barbarians and they're pretty strong. So gaining +5 combat strength when fighting barbarians is a good thing. And then I don't really know which one is better, more production or faith and gold in the capital. But I feel like we want to be well-rounded, right? You know, I want to win culturally. You know, you gotta have a little bit of faith. You know what I'm saying? You gotta have a little bit of faith. So that other policy I selected, God King, +1 faith and +1 gold per turn in the capital. So that's gonna be helpful, I hope. And it looks like we got to choose our new civic research. And I'm going to go for that foreign trade because we did get that boosted a little bit earlier by discovering a second continent. Boom, that tribal village gave us some gold. We get money out here. Yeah, it's like speaking another language, and I run into that problem all the time. And we just discovered another city state is a religious city state, and the city states, they want you to complete quests for them, and each time you complete a quest for them, they give you another envoy. And envoys, with those, I almost clicked declare war. I'm not trying to do that, not yet. Every time you get an envoy, you get a bigger passive benefit from the city state. So city states give you gold oriented stuff. Faith based city states will give you faith based bonuses. So it's a good idea to complete those quests for the envoys. But I run into that situation a lot for whatever reason. I'll talk to a lot of people that don't know jack about gaming, and then it's like, oh, what do you do? And then
Gilgamesha Kiengi, U Sharuru Kanaku. Latadar, Anaku Ibrija Tibaku.
And then you meet Gilgamesh with his big ass sausage fingers and half his damn chest hanging out. So it's an honor to meet you, Gilgamesh. It's very nice. Yeah, sure, we'll exchange information about our capitals. Where is Gilgamesh? That is Moscow. That is not Gilgamesh. Oh, there's his scout.
Yourself in a hole. Quit digging.
Gilgamesh is very far away. Okay, so cool. The map is pretty dense. I don't know where that barbarian scout actually came from. I can't seem to find the actual barbarian camp. Yeah, it's not over there. That's the ocean. But I run into that problem a lot where trying to explain the various things that I do with my quote unquote spare time. It never seems to make any sense to anyone when I try to explain it. So the next thing we're gonna go for, it gets a little tricky at this point. So cutting down we have the ability to build mines, and we can also chop down woods and harvest copper and things of that nature. But the next thing that we can go for is we can try and get a campus up and running to increase our production on science, which I'm sure is helpful. Or we can go for irrigation, and we could attempt to build a hanging garden, which will increase the growth in our cities, in all of our cities, by 15%. But the thing is, we are next to a river. Didn't even see it. So we are actually next to a river, so we would be able to put a hanging gardens right there if we went for that research. But if I'm honest, I don't know which way I'm going to go just yet. So I'm going to start with pottery. I'm going to start with pottery for now, because that's the I got to research pottery before I do anything. So I've been droning on about this topic now, but my point is so what do you do, man? What do you do? I just got this job and blah blah blah. I do this XYZ, yada yada. Nothing out of the ordinary. It makes sense. So what do you do? It's like me. Well, I am a YouTube content creator who is about to purchase a builder with gold. Boom. Purchase the builder, and the game is recommending that I build a settler as my next production option, and that does seem like ooh, we got another scout. Ooh, we got barbarians. What's going on over here? Hold on. Before I decide what I'm gonna build next, we gotta figure out what's going on with these barbarians. They got a camp right here. All right, so their camp is kind of a little bit brolic right now. For those of you who don't know what brolic means, brolic means very strong. So they have a spearman and a slinger versus I have a warrior and a slinger. I'm gonna go for a settler. Why not? And then I feel like my two units with their discipline will be able to fare pretty well against the barbarians. So let's start marching our guys back over here so we can deal with that. It's going to take a while to get over there, but it is going to be very prudent that we do so. So what do I do? I'm a YouTube content creator. What does that mean? What do you make YouTube videos? What is, like, about what? What do you make your YouTube videos about? Well, the gaming, gaming stuff. So I do this thing called Let's Plays, and I make tutorials and get. What's a Let's Play? You might find it hard to believe that people in this world don't know what a Let's Play is, but there are people in the world that don't know what a Let's Play is. All right, it's an obscure thing. Now, I'm about to do some cool stuff right now. I could sail my builder straight into the water and start harvesting those crabs right away, but what I want to do is I want to move him onto those trees, and then in the next turn, I'm gonna actually cut those trees down, and it's gonna give me a large amount of production. It'll tell me when I actually do it how much production specifically, but that production is going to speed up the production of the scout. Not the scout, the settler. The settler costs 53 production, and depending on how much production we get for cutting down these trees, it will, fill up the rest of the bar on the settler. So, you just like play games and you like talk about them or whatever? Well, yeah, and do you get paid for it? I mean, it's like, well, kind of. I mean, I'm partnered with a multi-channel network, and we get paid based on view. Oh, so is that like your job? Well, not really, because I don't get paid a lot for it. And my scout just beat the hell out of that little slinger right there, and we triggered the inspiration for military tradition. So our knowledge from capturing that barbarian outpost and getting some gold out of that, we triggered the military tradition thing. And I believe that was the quest that we had with that city-state, so we actually got an envoy out of that. So now we have 2 envoys sent with that city-state. I'm feeling good right now. Man, the difference between how much I knew the first time I picked this game up to now, incredible. I'm so much smarter. I smarter now. Much knowledge I has. Whoa. So I get so that's like your job or whatever. Yeah, that's cool, man. That's cool. And then it just gets weird after that.
That's the positive aspect of trade, I suppose. The world gets stirred up together.
And there we go. We just finished our research of our civic research of foreign trade, which means we unlocked some new policies. If we do start going for trade routes right away, then we'll be able to use the caravanseries? I don't even know if that's a real word, but that increases the amount of gold you get from trade routes. But for the time being, I am going to leave God King active, and I'm also going to leave actually, you know what? Let's take a look at what else we can build. I can actually build the galley, and because we are playing as England, we kind of want to have boats, right? So I think while I still have the option to change my policies, I'm gonna switch over to maritime industry. So if I do get into a fight with some barbarians in the immediate future, it's gonna be slightly harder to deal with them. But I feel like this is a good decision. I'm making choices. So it always just kind of gets weird after that, so you make YouTube videos. All right, that's cool, man. You do that. That's whatever, freak. It just never goes well. It's always just very difficult to explain that to people. So I just promoted my scout, and the promotion that I gave him increases movement on hill terrain. I don't really think there's too much rainforest, but there are a lot of hills in this area, and I assume there are going to be a lot of hills in the rest of the map. But if anything, it is very possible to unlock everything on a unit if you get them leveled up enough. So just because he doesn't have the ability to walk faster in rainforest now does not mean he won't have that ability later. So before we do that cool thing with the builder I was mentioning, we are going to move on to research craftsmanship. And then we're going to start chopping down trees. Boom. Choppity chop, chop chop. The trees are gone. We've used up one of our builder charges. We still have 2 remaining. And here is our settler. and there's a whole bunch of very fertile lands nearby. We've got some cocoa, so we can get our Hershey's on. We've got some rice, you know, or we could go over here. We get a lot of stone. We get right by a river. So this is pretty good. There's a lot of good options for us right now, as far as where to build. I know. Whoa, this is barbarians right there. I didn't even. What? I swear they weren't there before. What's up with that? So apparently this is an ideal spot to settle. I'm not really sure why this is better, but don't worry, I figured out why that spot was better, and I'll let you know next time. But before it's all over, last time we did a question of the day at the end of every episode. I'd asked what you thought was the best way to proceed. We're still going to have questions of the day, but they're going to be a little bit different. So, the question of today, what are some cool tips or tricks you have for the first 20 turns of any Civilization game? I've got about 40 hours under my belt with this game, but as much as I'll say I know what's going on, I still feel kind of in the dark about what I'm doing. So teach me your ways, give me your knowledge, help me, and maybe you'll help somebody else that happens to be browsing through the comment section of my videos. So, with all that said, the name of the game, as you already know, is Civilization VI. The name of the channel is iBluairJgR Gaming for Comedy. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.